I moved to the United States when I was seven-ish years old, I would say. I was just going to second grade, and instantly, it was not the easiest of starts. I was from a different country. I still had an accent. Obviously, I did not look like everyone else. I was very skinny at the time too, and all of those things kind of led to me being a little bit of an outcast. I wasn't as accepted by everyone, and obviously at that time everyone's still young. They look and see, oh, these are the people that look like me. They, have the same cultural background as me. At that time they don't even know what that means, but it's like we talk the same, we look the same, and the way we are at home and at school is the same, and this person is just not that. And so I was not really that. I didn't have that many friends at that time. No one would really want to talk to me. And I remember at lunch, I never had anyone to sit with, because at that time American food was still new to me. It was not something that I ate as much, so I would have food that my mom cooked for me, which was Indian food. And I remember at lunch, every day people would be like, yeah, no, that smells really weird, no, it looks weird, and you're just weird. Like, look at us, we like all of us are eating this, and we look the same, and then there's just you. So the only few people I was able to kind of talk to then were also kind of outcasts like me. They were just either different than everyone else, or they were from a different country like me, and they were Indian. But yeah, it was definitely not easy. And also, being as skinny as I was, a lot of people thought they could just kind of push me around. And like, I remember in recess this one time, this kid was constantly getting pushy with me, and I just wanted to play with people and kind of be with, I try to make friends, and this guy was just not, he was just having some fun. And after, every day of being told I'm weird or different, and then now this, I guess something finally just snapped, and I kind of punched that kid in the throat, which I really do regret now. That was definitely not one of my proudest moments. Not a fun conversation with the principal as well, although he kind of did understand that, I did not have that many friends. Like, it wasn't hard to tell that obviously I was kind of a loner a little bit, and so he was kind of nice about it, but definitely my parents were not too happy. But could have definitely handled that better. And kind of as time went by, I became more Americanized, and then came middle school, and that was a whole different monster. In elementary school, it's just kind of like, oh, you're kind of different than everyone else. Middle school, people are growing up a little bit, and then not in a good way, I guess, because it was just a popularity contest. It's either you're an athletics kid, where you're playing football, basketball, and all of that, or you're like a band nerd, or you're doing art and theater, or just anything that's not athletics, and it's just a popularity contest. Either you look like these kids that are playing these sports, and like they're just jocks, or you're just not one of them. And if you're Asian like me, then it's you have to be good at school, and like you're a very studious person, and yeah, it's just there's like this divide that is created. And I was kind of perceived, obviously I'm Indian, so like they were like, oh, he's got to be good at school, and like there's that, he's kind of a nerd, and was like pick on him. And at that time I was doing martial arts, so, and my little debacles in elementary school kind of translated over, and they were like, okay, this is the kid that you don't pick on as much because he will fight back, but all the other people are free business, just go for it. And I had a few friends in middle school. They were all Indian, surprisingly enough, and they did not have it easy either. I mean, they were very studious, and they didn't give a shit about athletics or anything like that. And I mean, part of it is when you're a first generation in the US, your parents work hard to get here, and you need to work even harder to stay here after that. And so like that kind of goes into like you know, why it is that like the stereotype of, oh, if you're Asian then you have to try so hard at school kind of exists. My parents have always been a little bit more lenient, so they let me explore a lot more, and I definitely feel like that led to me being not picked on as much, and like people were like, all right, he's like kind of decent. But yeah, no, middle school was just hard, and you know, it's like the whole popularity contest and whatnot. But you know, as time goes on, people kind of mature out of that little phase, and it's just they grow up. And I guess I kind of, once I got into high school, I started like powerlifting. It became like a body image thing where it's like you gotta look this way, and then you'll get the girls, you'll get the friends, like you'll be, if you look this way then you're set basically. And that kind of was drilled into my head. And so I got into powerlifting, and at first it was all about looking a certain way, but about halfway through I kind of realized that this is something that I just genuinely enjoyed. Like it was not just about being physically strong for me at that point. It was, I'm physically strong, but then I'm mentally strong. Like there was like this little connection that was kind of made for me now that I think about it. And I definitely think that played a huge part into who I am today. Like I would definitely say I'm very strong-willed now, and I don't get fazed by any of that easily. Like I know who I am. I've accepted myself. I don't care too much I mean, obviously I care about being healthy, but like I'm not too concerned about looking a certain way to, like, you know, please other people. I powerlift today because I just genuinely enjoy it. And that definitely, that whole concept of it, as I started learning that about myself, helped me a lot through high school. Like my entire, like, not to sound too cheesy, but like my aura just kind of like changed, and I was more confident with myself. And I just knew that I was mentally and physically strong. And you know, high school went a lot better for me, and obviously a lot by then a lot more people had matured. My high school was just kind of a little different, but I guess things do kind of get better as you grow up. But you know, being different when you're younger, it takes a huge toll. And you know, you think about things differently, and it's definitely not easy, but you just gotta kind of stick it out, and you just gotta know who you are. And for me, things worked out, and the other people that, I'm not really in touch with anyone from middle school or high school that much, but I know those people, it kind of worked out for them too. I mean, they never really, you know, cared too much about that. I mean, they were just like, this is what I have to do, and they're doing it, and from what I know, they're doing fine. So I think this whole like body image and being different, it's something that shouldn't exist, but sadly it is. But you just gotta know how to deal with it, and the best way to deal with it is just be confident in who you are.